Productions, the Cultural Preservation Station. Tune in. Tune in. Hey yo. Black education, cultural preservation. Tailor BEETV, because elevation. Tune into the station, we rockin' the whole nation. That's right, we rockin' the whole nation. Prepping new generation for mental activation. Tailor BEETV's the new sensation. Stop the hesitation and learn something new. My girl Taylor B's here to show and prove. Terrorist shit.
Peace and love, queens and kings up. You are now tuned into the Justice on Earth frequency on BEETV. That's Black Education Empowers True Vision. I want to welcome all of you tonight to our show. Thank you so much for tuning in if you're here live. If you're here live, make sure you put a like on this video. Make sure you share the video. And make sure you smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We need everyone to subscribe. We need you to like the video, comment on the video, comment on the live, even comment when the video is over. Okay, so that's what we need from you guys, from the family. I want to welcome you guys to Justice on Earth, the podcast where we review the 11 areas of activity. I am your girl, Queen B, and I want to bring my host on. Let me get me a second to bring our guy on. Welcome, Wynder boy. Okay, your mic is muted, so unmute your mic. There we go.
There we go. What's going on, family? How's everybody? What's going on, Queen? Can you hear me?
Greetings, Teresa Miller in the audience. I can't hear you, Wynder boy, so if you're talking, I can't hear you. And you know what, Teresa? Can you hear me? Because I want to make sure everyone can hear me, because I can't hear my co-host. So if you can hear me, just put like a 1 in the chat if you're here in the chat. I see one person there. If you can hear us, put a 1 in the chat.
Right.
Okay, good.
Can y'all hear me?
I can't hear you.
What?
Can you hear the co-host, Teresa?
Can anybody hear me?
That's just a me thing. Let's see if she can hear you, Bert, because I can't hear you. She can hear you, but I can't. So that's interesting. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go out and come back in and see if I can get this working. Yeah, I can't hear them. So I don't know what that is. That's weird.
You hold on. I'll try to, you want me to leave out and come back in? Oh, she can't hear me. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, I can hear that. Can you guys hear me still in the audience? Because I don't know why I can't hear anything. Maybe he's going to come back in. But in the meantime, if you guys can hear me in the audience, okay, good. That's good. I don't know why I can't hear anything. That's very strange. But I'm going to keep pushing and hopefully he'll call back in and then we can make sure we get him on the screen. But I want to make sure that we get started because we do have a lot in store. So hold on 1 second. Let me pull the slides up. Tonight, our episode on Justice on Earth is going to be on help So it's going to be on health, education, law, and politics tonight. Okay, let me see if I can hear him. He's back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had to leave out, come back.
Yes. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
technical difficulties,
Right.
especially when you're going live, family. This is what can happen.
Right.
But we want to thank the family for being patient with us, for being
Thank you,
patient.
y'all. Thank you. We getting it together. Don't worry.
That's right. That's right. We are getting it together. So I do not want people to worry. So I'm going to go ahead. I was just talking to the family a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull the slides up because we do have a lot to get
Okay.
into. I was just going over what tonight's episode was. Tonight's episode is help. So we're going to be exploring like a few topics, guys. We're going to be mixing in some historical things with some current
Yep.
events. And then we're going to tie that into kind of like how the law has worked or lack thereof worked in the favor for Black Americans here in this country. And then we're going to tie that to the political scene as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And I want to thank everyone that's listening live. Make sure you guys put a like on the video. Just share the video on your
Right. Hit
Facebook
that
page.
bell.
Share it with somebody.
Hit
Hit
that
that
bell.
bell. If you're new to the channel, welcome to BEETV. Welcome to the Cosmic Collective. You're tuned in to Justice on Earth, where we review 11 areas of activity to uncover injustices around the world and produce justice on Earth. So that's what we're here to do. And of course, I am Queen Bee, Linnie Valle, the Justice Initiator. And I got my boy Carnell here, Wynder
Peace
boy
to
at
the
my
fam.
side. And now, how you doing? How you doing, King? Let's hear from you. How was your week and how you doing and how things going?
It's good. You take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do out here. As long as you keep it moving, you know what I mean? You got good people give you advice. That's all you need. That's all you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do got to
Yeah.
take the good with the bad, and you do have to
Right.
surround yourself with people who can give you good advice. And not only that,
Right.
like people who actually care about your general well-being,
Right.
that does not have like a vested interest in whatever is going on with you. Someone that can just mutually look at things and say, hey, this is a perspective that you probably can view this from, and then that really can help people. So that's what we do here on BEETV.
Right.
And we everybody's enjoying that. So let me go ahead and add these slides to the stage. So of course we know what our mission is here. We are here to examine and document timelines of historical events across all areas of activity. We reference and highlight scholarly works, creations, and world contributions, review current events of injustice, exposing the dominant society and replacing the global system of racism, also known as white supremacy. And a fellow two-person said to me that it's called Caucasian domination, which I thought that was an interesting and
Whoa. They got a slogan.
Yeah. She's a two-person.
Yeah.
She's also a fellow astronumerologist. So shout out to her. Shout out to Portia Cooper for that. That was a really interesting way to say it. I think we're going to start using that Caucasian domination. That pretty much sums it up, because really, and we say that not, we're laughing and all that, but we say that because, really what they've done in this country has taken hold globally, so the mindset, it might not be the physical things that they did to us happening everywhere, but the mindset that they've ingrained in us in this country has taken a global effect, because this is a global system. And we see that when we look over at our sister country in Africa and all the stuff that they're going through with the colonization. Some of a lot of it's falling apart. With
they're starting to fight back.
Yeah, France getting kicked out. Ibrahim Traore, they took over leadership there, and they're really, fighting justice and fighting the way forward. So, they're doing it there. We're doing it here. There's different, ways to do it. And this is the way that we chose to reflect and do this, and really just show and prove through, looking at these things. Because I'm telling you guys, people get mad when you tell true history. Like, people really get mad. And then it really lets you see the deep ingrained like racism and social inequality that is still, profound in the Black American community today.
Yeah.
So, this is just what we do here, and this is what's going on. So it is what it is. And then also we want to create that cultural repository for our creations, our contributions, and our traditions, because we don't want people, stealing things from our culture. We got to start,
Right.
doing 70 tangible things that I talked about on last week's show to
Right.
document, do all that kind of stuff and develop and deploy and all that kind of stuff is what we got to do. That's introducing those 70s to cultural ascension as a model toward justice on earth, and a model toward the the upliftment and the improvement of the condition of our community. So we know that's what
Yeah.
we're here to do, and we know that these are our 11 areas of activity. We know we're in the sheeple war, so we're going to just name sex, health, education, economics, politics, labor, law, entertainment, war, agriculture, and religion. We know that is the sheeple war that we are here fighting for justice on earth. And again, this is just our outline of how we're going to be doing things this season. And tonight we're going to be doing like a little bit of a deep dive on certain areas. So we're going to get right into it. Let me just jump right into the first slide. So the first slide is for healthcare, and healthcare. And we want to bring you a story of grave injustice this week.
Right.
This week, I don't know if the family has heard, but this week in healthcare, so I'm just going to come up off the screen. I'm going to take this down for a minute, and then I'm going to come on the screen so we can talk about this, because this was truly, it's really horrific when you think about, what this
Yeah.
person has done. It begs me to question how, people are actually like vetting these people who are allowed to work in these hospitals. Sometimes, our community, we get so overlooked for just basic positions that we're way overqualified for, including positions in healthcare, the bias
Yeah.
and the injustices of that. And then we couple it with this story that we're going to talk about tonight with this woman who was young. She's a very young woman. So that tells me, that points to the fact that this is really ingrained in our society here.
Yep.
And
Yep.
to me, it's a mental illness. Racism
Yep.
is a mental illness. It's a mental condition that people have. That they really need to get in check, because it does get passed down through the generations.
Yep.
And we can see that through this story, because this woman was only 26 years old. And this woman basically was breaking the bones of Black babies in the hospital. She was a NICU, a NICU nurse. I don't know why I can't say that.
Nikki,
She was
yeah.
a NICU nurse, and she's charged with malicious wounding and felony child abuse following investigations into unexplained injuries among Black newborns in the neonatal intensive care unit at Henrico's Doctors Hospital down in Virginia. So this woman, her name is Erin Elizabeth Ann Stratum. She's 26 years old. Let me pull this back up on the screen so we can take a look at this woman. And then I'm going to let, my co-host, go ahead and say what you would like to say about this story before we get into the, the particulars. What do you got to say about this off bat? What's your first thoughts?
Sickness. I feel like this is something that, see, when you allow these people to continue to have this type of power, they pass it down through their kids. It's almost like a tradition to them, because she's young. So somebody had to teach her that she ain't just going to get up one day and just be like, I just want to, I want to abuse Black infants. Who does? Like, you have to have no type of humanity in your heart to do that. You have to be a savage. I hate to say it like that, but you have to be, because you and you a woman. That's what make it bad. So I feel like, personally, you never know. She might be with them eugenics people,
Right.
Planned Parenthood type people. Them, and you in Virginia. So just saying, I'm not saying all white people and all people in Virginia are like that. I'm just saying everybody knows that's the stigma that's passed. And they've been doing this to babies when they used to take Black babies and feed them to alligators.
Yes.
You
So
know what I'm
this is
saying?
it's deep rooted. This is a deep
It's
rooted
deep
issue.
rooted.
To me, this is it's really truly a mental health issue. I mean, even when you look at the nurse, she looks like she may have some mental health issues.
Like
I
she
don't
on
want to,
medication.
yeah, I don't want to attack people's physical looks. But sometimes you
Right,
can tell when you look at someone that they might have, some mental health
right,
issues. And she
right.
looks like she may have some. So I'm wondering, how does she get a job in a hospital working with babies? What was her background? Did she have any other, issues? When you go through nursing school, you have to do clinical hours and all that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering, is there any more to this? Is there any more background to this woman
Mm,
and what her history is? And was she properly vetted to work in a hospital with
no.
babies? Because
She probably
okay,
had a
so go ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say she
No.
probably had a family member who got her the job.
Hmm.
You
Right.
know what I mean? Go ahead, I got you. You gonna get in here and have a job. That's
Right.
just, you know what I mean? They ain't getting
That's
vetted.
par for the course. That's par for the course, right?
It's sad. It's so
It
sad.
is. So
It's so
let's get
sad.
into the story a little bit. So she's being investigated for so it was the initial charges stem from an incident back in November of 2024.
Hmm.
Um, and then she's also being investigated for additional victims, as it's suspected that she may have harmed other babies in the past, because they had all of these things going wrong with these babies, and nobody knew what was wrong with these babies and how these babies were
Yep.
getting injured in the past.
Right.
It just so happened that this case in 2024, I don't even know how they uncovered it or how they figured it out or whatever.
Right.
But they ended up figuring it out, it was her, and then they did this investigation on her in the background to
Hmm.
make sure. And there's earlier cases from 2023 and 2024 that they're going to be revisiting. So they did close the NICU admissions unit down during this probe, which is good. I'm glad that the hospital seen how serious this was. And they shut that down to make sure the safety of the other babies were paramount. Now
Right.
for this woman, so there has been 7 cases altogether, guys. We know 7's that spiritual number. So this, to me, this lets us know even more that we are in a spiritual war, you guys. This is why we definitely need to get in tune with ourselves, get in tune with our
Right.
spirit, know our individual frequency, and know the things that we should be doing and when we shouldn't be doing them and when. So, this is what we're bringing to you guys as a holistic approach to looking at this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
you have to really be aware of what's going on and what's going on in your community. And, kudos to the parents that didn't let up, because that's
Right.
often a problem. And we'll talk about this when later in the presentation, where often, especially as Black Americans, often a lot of things that happen to us, whether it's medical, even if it's in the street or whatever, it goes unreported. Like, we don't report things. A lot of
Right.
times, oftentimes, we either A, we don't trust the authorities to report it, or B, we don't think they're going to believe us anyway, or C, we call them and they come kill us or do something worse to us than what we're calling them for. So
Right.
oftentimes we don't even report a lot of the stuff that we go through, and we'll see that when we explore the topic later in the law topic. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the screen one more time, because really we need to really make sure that people are aware. This is it. This is what's going on,
Mm.
guys. This is what's going on in America in 2024 and 2025. So don't tell me
That's
we don't need a show called Justice on Earth. Okay.
that's and
Um,
that's perfect. That's perfectly why we need it.
right. It's a perfect reason why we need it. And her court date is set for March. So this is going to be a story, guys, that we're going to be following very closely. We're going to be following this throughout it very closely. So hopefully in March, when she returns to court, hopefully there's some good news with, a sentencing or whatever is going to happen. I don't know if she's going to trial or whatever. But we'll get
Right.
that update in March. And as soon as we know about any updates, we'll make sure the family knows about it. So that was our first story. That was health. Okay. So let's get our next story up here, guys. We're going to be talking about education, because remember, tonight we're talking about help. And when we say help, we mean help yourself.
Help your
Help
yes. Help
yourself
yourself.
by empowering yourself with the
Right.
knowledge of things like this, with the tools necessary to overcome things like this, and to make sure that they don't happen in the future, because that is what our role is. You know, you can't be a bystander and stand by and do nothing, because then the future generations have nothing. You're giving them literally nothing.
They have nothing to stand on.
Right. And our ancestors didn't do that to us. Our ancestors left us with tools. They left us with guides, with speeches, with books. And this is what our charge is, guys, for us to do in this time frame. It's for us to do those things. So when our future descendants come along, they have guides and books or whatever to stand on for the updated history. Don't forget, you got to renew your history. You know, every 25,000 say, you know, renew your history. So to me, a day to God is 1,000 years. So that means every month you got to renew your history. Every 25 days, that's you got to renew your history. We got to continue to update things, and that's all a part of that 7D cap documentation. You got to document, whether that's through a book, through a guide, through a manual, through a your social media account, through a YouTube, whatever, you know, document this stuff so it's there for our future descendants to find and to utilize. So that's what we're doing here. So, you know, that's I gotta let knowledge be born and make people be aware of what we're doing. So here we go. Let's get the next story up here. So let me take this down. So this is education. So I'll talk about this a little bit. So you see it on the screen. This is going to be, we're going to be talking about 3 primary sources proving that Black people were in America prior to colonization. Okay. So, you know, we know that this has been an ongoing thing. Hopefully you guys heard the intro that I did. I hope you guys heard that. You know, this technical TV stuff is outrageous when you go live. But I do think they heard it, because I let it play a second time just in case they didn't hear it or get the whole message. So I want to make sure that people know. So this is what we're going to be talking about. Give me 1 second here. Let's get us up here.
Also, to touch on what you were saying, it's very important for documentation, because they will do paper genocide.
Yes.
It's a real issue. They will whitewash everything. This is why you need to study. You need platforms to put you in the right direction. Get your information, save it, pass it from you to each generation, because believe me, it's something that they're doing right now.
Yeah, they're doing it now. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if you look at how they're trying to blend everything together.
Yes.
Everything they want to blend so they can omit and erase. It's all propaganda. You have to study. You have to do the research. We just here to wake you up, give you a little bit of guidance, let you know you're not alone. You're not just a crazy conspiracy theorist. You know, this stuff is real. It's a reality. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. So, you know, what he was just talking about is definitely, you know, relevant to what we're about to get into, because that's essentially what happened to this history that I'm going to talk about real quick. You know, and was the beginning of the show when I came in, and you heard me saying, you know, that a lot of us don't read. And if we did read, we would know that the Europeans that did come to America to discover it, when they got here, they wrote in their journals, right? And when they wrote in their journals, they described us, you guys.
Right.
They described us. Now, the Native Americans were described also in some parts of the journals, but we were also described. But the part with the education system does is it takes our part out. It completely omits our part. You never see anything about us being found when they talk about when we talk about education and the history, you know, Department of Education. And this is a problem, you guys, because this is the reason why America can't heal. You know, this is the reason it can't heal, because we're living on this lie. And it was something sacred. It's a sacred lie that they told. It's a sacredness that they stole from us. And they perpetuate this lie for over 500 years. So this is the culmination. We're at the culmination period. It's time for these things to come out. I'm sure people have been hearing about it. I would just generally tell you to do your research. research your own family history, research your own lineage.
Yes.
See how far
Yes.
back you go in these censuses, okay? See if you can find any evidence of your family, you know, of anything being shipped on a slave ship. See if you find that. See if you don't, because I bet you will be surprised at what you find. And please do not go off and think that a DNA test is going to tell you something. A DNA test cannot tell you your ethnicity. It cannot tell you your history or your lineage. It can trace back to one thing, and all of us would trace back to that one thing if we really thought about it, right? So
Right.
that's not going to be the ticket. And even when you get those DNA tests, it literally tells you that they're for entertainment purposes only, and it's not to be as an educational or a historical tool to be used in that context. The only way that you can do that is by doing genealogy. You have to
Right.
do genealogy to see where your lineage is from and to see where it goes back to. Okay, and that's the only way. So right now we're going to get into these three primary sources proving that Black people were in America prior to colonization. Now I'm telling you, I'm only giving you three tonight for the basis of the show and time, and to introduce you to some of the topics that we're going to be going over throughout the show, you know, throughout the season. And so this is what we're going to do. So we're only going to talk about three, but I'm also going to give you, not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to give you the sources where I got those three from. And then I'm also going to give you about 4 other books that you can read to start yourself on your own personal journey to finding out
Yes.
your history, who you are, and anything else you want to know. Okay. So this is what we're doing here. So let's get into the first one. Giovanni Verrazzano. So I'm sure everyone knows about the Verrazzano Narrows Bridge. It's out there in Staten Island, my favorite borough in New York. And it goes over to Brooklyn. So that's the bridge that goes from Staten to Brooklyn. And we, as we know, Verrazzano, he came to explore the eastern sea border, all the way from like
Yep.
Newfoundland all the way down to the Bahamas. So this was his
Yes.
journey. And when he got here, he first landed in the Carolinas. And this is what he said. And I'm only giving the first account because for time purposes, because I also want you guys to go study it yourself. Don't believe me. Go study it yourself. So this is called the Celeray Codex, July 8th, 1524. This is when he arrived. Okay. And this is what he said. This is quote, "Some of them wear garlands of birds' feathers. They are dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians, with thick black hair, not very long, tied to the back with a small tail." So you guys tell me who he's talking about. Who does that describe? Who you think that describes, Wynder?
He ain't say no redskin people. I'm just saying. He said exactly what we look like today. It's
I mean, down
it's
to the
sad, like
hair. I mean,
down
whose
to the
hair?
hair.
Who else's hair, you guys? Who else's hair is thick, black, not very long, tied to the back behind the head and a small tail? Who else's hair does that?
Right.
Who else would be dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians? Who is that? So
And
this is the stuff that gets omitted. Go ahead, brother.
and the fact that he described the color of their skin, because they'll always say, you know, there ain't no black Indians. You know, you don't got no black Indian in your family. You know, they always do that passive aggressive. Oh no, but he's describing it. He was there.
Right.
That's a
He was
primary
there.
source.
He described it. And like I said, this is a primary source. It's unmistakable. And this is the problem, you guys. This is the problem with the education system now. Okay. Because if we were being honest and being true to the true history, then we would have to rethink this whole narrative of who, first of all, we're calling like native to this land. That's A. B, how things how things went, and how we've been historically excluded from benefits from anything that has gone on. We're literally prisoners of war in this land, you guys. We're literally prisoners of war. Now, you know, we're going to go through a couple more resources. This is not to discount anybody's history or anybody's knowledge. This is to get you thinking and to get you looking at researching for yourself, because the education that you were brought up in is a lie. I'm just letting you know, none of it's true. It's all lie. You have to go do the research yourself. So these are just some things that get your brain going, to get you started, and we really want you to look at this stuff and understand why this is why we are in the predicament and the conditions that we are in this country.
Right.
Okay. This is why the global lie is able to spread globally, because this is the new world, right? So if they come here and this is how they treat this new world, this is the forward model for the rest of the world now, right? So they make it look so attractive now. The rest of the world does exactly what they're told, coming from this frequency of this landmass. That's how important this landmass is too. I want people to start getting out of the idea of that Africa's the only homeland or landmass. All of these landmasses is our home, you guys. All of them.
Facts. Every
If you look,
one of
every
them.
continent, every single
Every
continent,
one of them.
even Antarctica, every single continent. We populated it first. So we got to get shit straight. Like, you got to get straightening. That's what we call straightening. So let's get into the other two. So that was 1524. So that predates 1619, the date that they say the first Africans were brought here on a slave ship. That predates that, and that also predates kind of that start of slavery, which was really around like upwards from 1619 upwards to into 1625 and 30, when it started getting to the point of the shadowness of it, was because it started out a different way, then it kind of evolved into what it evolved into. So that's another thing. Go do the history. Don't believe me, go do the history, because I read it. So I'm gonna tell you, go do your research. So the second person we're going to look at is from 1602 to 1607, Bartholomew Gosnold. So this was his quote. This is Bartholomew Gosnold from 1602 to 1607. These people are of tall stature, broad and grim, visage of a black swart complexion. Now, this guy was an English explorer, and he was instrumental in founding the Virginia Company of London, and one of the first to explore and settle the Jamestown colony in 1607. So this is him. This is a primary source of European descent that's saying that the visage was of a black swart complexion. Who's black and swart?
Right.
Bert, you look black and swart to me.
That's exactly what it is.
You look black and
swart. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So if you go look up swart, even it'll tell you it's brown, dark brown.
Yep.
Muddy brown. It'll tell you what's
muddy, ruddy. Yep. Ruddy, dark, brown, copper.
Yep. So this is another source, primary source that exposes the education system. It exposes the lies that the education system is based on. It exposes the lies that this whole continent is based on. And it exposes the huge lie that they base our inception in this continent on. Okay. So we getting that straight right now. So let's get on to the third one. George Weymouth. This was March 5th, 1605. So that was in between the time of Gosnold. And this is what George had to say. Now, George, so we already were we were in the Carolinas. And Verrazano also did like West Virginia. He did a lot, He went
up to like Manhattan.
He went as far as up as Newfoundland and then all the way down to the Bahamas. So the whole time he documented that he's seen us. So I didn't get into all of those. And then Bartholomew Gosnold, again, he was in Virginia. And then George Weymouth, now he was known for exploration in Maine. So this is far to the north of the East Coast, Maine. This is what George Weymouth said from March 5th, 1605. They were very well favored in proportion of countenance, though colored black, low of stature and fat, bareheaded as the men wearing their hair long. And of course, like I said, coast of Maine. This is where he explained that the inhabitants were colored black. So this is three primary sources proving that the black people were indigenous to the Americas. I mean, and this is stuff that you can't make up.
Right.
You know, we can't make this up. I want to thank everybody that's on the live check-in. Peace and
Salute.
love to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this Jupiter day. You know, we need all the
Right.
luck we can get, all the abundance we
Right.
can get with getting people to wake up to this information. So thank you for being here. You being here helps the algorithm. Make sure you put a like on the video and share it. And yes, she
Schwartz.
says Swart means black in German. So there you go.
See?
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for that. You know, and this is what I'm saying, guys. So we got to make sure that we keep these people honest. That's our job. I'm doing my job right now. You know, so I don't really care about anything else. This is what has to be done. We have to edify this at this point in time. If we don't put this information out at this very specific point in time that we're at in time and space, it's going to be lost forever to the future descendants. I'm telling you guys this.
And
It's going to be lost.
honestly they already cutting us off because they're doing it through the music.
And not only through the music, let me say one other way that that we're being cut off. Because, and then why I'm telling you guys that this is the most important time for us to be doing this. Because we are the last line to that ancestral line, that generation that fought for those civil rights, that generation that brought
Yes.
this information directly to us as a generation. If we don't do this now, it's going to be lost, because this new generation, I'm not knocking them or doubting them, but they got their own issues that they're dealing with, and we're not doing the best bang up job of bringing them up through that. So to me, us doing stuff like this is contributing to that. That contributes to them, because now they can go on YouTube, which they like to do, and see things like this, and it'll spark their attention. It'll spark them to go do this research of these books I'm about to show them. So right now we're done with that part. But right now, before I let Wonder Boy close out, I'm going to give you some sources of books that you can get to get yourself started on this. And I'm just going to kind of go in order of how I looked at them, and I hope you can see them. This is Black People. It's kind of dirty. I'm sorry, because I use it a lot and I was eating with it.
It's right.
Yeah,
They've been put to use.
And it's kind of older. So this is Black People Are Indigenous to the Americas, research material for the inquisitive, by Kimberly R. Norton. Source number 1. If you guys want to screenshot this, it's source number 1. Okay. Because we're not going to leave the family without sources. We got to let the family get sources so they can go do this research. And once you do that, it'll lead you to other sources. Like when you go find these books, you'll find other stuff. And in the book, it'll tell you other sources of the primary sources it came from. So that can also help you to dig down that rabbit hole. And we'll get into that in a second. So the first thing is that we all have to accept this knowledge. Botanical information is nothing when it's not known. It's nothing. It has no power. Information by itself is nothing. And knowledge, even knowledge, information and knowledge, they're like the same thing. By themselves, they're nothing. We give it the power. So we got to be knowledgeable about this. We all have to accept this as this is what this is. Once we all do that, then we can start making meaningful change. Because again, remember that everything is in the mind, everything is mental. Every change starts with your thought and your perception. So if you think you're a slave off of a slave ship and you got no birthright here, then you ain't going to think you deserve nothing. You're going to be like, okay, well, maybe we should have been treated like that. Based on, if you base it on what they taught us, then that's what the average person might think. So this is why we're doing, get it out there. So we got to get the mindset changed first. And then we can talk about activating it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you can see this one. So this is one of my favorites. This is by Chase McGee, because this brother is younger. He's of the younger generation, and this brother's on point. And this book is called 19 White Men Who Admitted There Were Indigenous Black People in the Americas. Again, his name is Chase McGee. He's got also a series out called The Voice of the Ancestors that you guys can tap into. Got a lot of great information. Okay, so make sure you guys tap into these resources. Real quick, the great Dr. Henrik Clark.
That's That's the man right there.
Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. Okay. So make sure we want to make sure we're edifying the family. Okay. Ivan Van Sertima, they came before Columbus.
That's enough.
Okay.
Every source you holding up, please, everybody. She's giving you the sources. Please go look them up because she's giving you the ones that's going to get you in the right direction. I
And
guarantee
then
you.
this is the last source I'm going to give because I think I gave a lot. And this is just a really good starting point for the family before the Mayflower.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
By Lerone Bennett Jr. Okay. Before the Mayflower, a history of the Negro in America from 1619 to 1962. So even he's saying 1619, right? I just gave you 3 sources that predate us in this continent before 1619. Okay. So we just looked at 3 sources that predate 1619. And the one thing that I'm going to share with the family real quick is, people might not know, things or whatever, but my connection to this is really a cosmic spiritual connection to this, because the date that they use as the date that they brought the first Africans here is my birthday. So yeah, I'm putting my business out there. And my birthday was exactly 360 days later. 360 years later than that date. So one full
Wow.
360 cycle. This is in my heart, y'all. So please
Yeah,
don't play with me with this. This is what I'm here for. Okay. And to uplift my people and to help lead us to where we're going to be, guys. We're going to get there. But you
right.
got to know we're going to get there. Like Botanical asked, you got to know it and you have to feel it and change your mindset for it so you can prepare yourself for that outcome. Okay. It's all us manifesting our own reality, becoming spiritual, getting in tune with our own spirit and all of that. And I want to thank Shawan because she's putting them in the chat.
Thank you, Shawan. Yep. Admitted that. Yep.
So peace to the queen for that. And and like I said, we just was touching on this, and I agree, Botanical. The lies are so insurmountable. So I do think, like I said, it's going to take for us to change our consciousness, but it's going to take more than that. It's going to take us to do actions.
Yeah.
So it's not just changing the mindset. So this is going to be from a multifaceted way that we have to approach this. The first step is, though, to change the mindset and to know the information, do the research, have your leg to stand on, and know it. Be in the knowing of who you are and all of that. So know it. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to do these 7D cultural censoring principles. You know what I'm saying? I'm honestly, I was working on the book right before the live started. So the book is coming out soon. Also, I want to say, you guys, everything that I put here will be on the in the description below. So I'll put sources, I'll put links down there. After the video processes, we'll put links down there and sources to all of this information. And if you guys ever want any of these slides that I put together, you can email me at the email address that's in the description, and I'll email you the slides. Like I'll email you my slides, so you can. And all my sources are on my slides. So I got you guys. Let me give Shawan. She says I'm gonna let her put the other book titles up. What she got? The first 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can put it up here.
Can see it.
Let me just tell her. It's Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust by John Henrik Clark. Okay. I guess if I sit it back here, y'all can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it now. There you go.
There you go, Queen. Get it together, woman. All right. And then it's Ivan Van Sertima, Queen. It's Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus. And
The
he
big
has
Olmec head.
several other books. Yeah, he has several other books. Yeah, see the
Mhm.
Olmec head?
You
I have
can't
a
miss it.
short. You can't miss it. I have a short on Instagram explaining the Olmec heads
Dope.
and
That's
explaining
dope.
and that was another thing that one of the explorers came and found,
Mhm.
and they said it's Negro.
Yeah.
It's a Negro. It's a Negro. We got a Negro.
They probably wondering how did this happen? How did they get here too?
how did they beat us to this too? All right. Can't help it
Oh
when we're the
man.
universal supreme, and that's us, guys. You know, I'm the acronym queen. So the queen just came up with a new one today when she was writing a little bit in the book. So the new name that I'm gonna be calling us is us. It's us, y'all. Us. We're the universal supreme. Us. Okay, the
That's dope.
cosmic collective, universal supreme. So when you hear me say us, I'm talking about all of us, baby. I'm talking about us because we a family, and we need
Right.
to start acting like it. We need to start acting like it because telling you, y'all see everything going on in the world, right? Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennett. Shawan. Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much, Queen. Thank you so much for recording that in the live for people. Okay. And again, people can run it back if they want to go over it. And I just want to let you guys know. I just want to let you guys know that we will be exploring this topic very deeply. I love that comment. We will be exploring this topic very deeply throughout the season. So just buckle up because this is just the beginning, baby. I mean, you know,
Right.
we're just letting you know off the bat, like we're starting out hard. This is who it is. This is what we are. Here go the resources. Take it or leave it. I can't wait for the trolls to come because I love trolls. And let me just tell you something about trolls, which people don't know about me. I'm the biggest troll there is. And I'm a very positive person. Don't get me wrong. But if you think you're going to come troll me, you got the wrong one, baby. And I love it because you come on giving me a comment, so you boosting my algorithm. So first, I always thank the trolls. I'm like, thank you so much for commenting. You commented. I can't even get my family to comment, but you're here commenting front and center. Troll, thank you. I love you for boosting my algorithm. That's the first thing I tell them. And then I dig right in their ass, y'all. And when I'm telling you I can get slick with it because I got about 7 5s in my name, I can get slick with it. And I don't play. And I'm a Leo. So I got that minor Mars energy, you know, and I'm very sweet, but do not cross me and do not play with us. And you know who I'm talking about when I say us. Don't play with us. Do not play with us. Because I'm telling you, gonna get burnt.
Yeah,
And my
that's a
feelings
fact.
don't get, I got thick skin, so you can say what you want, trolls. I love when you guys come. So all the trolls I
Don't
invite
don't
to the
don't
page.
don't set yourself up. I promise you. You
I'm good. Yeah. I love it. I
don't
want
even
them
do it. Don't even do it. Because
to.
you're gonna leave mad. You're gonna be so upset.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
but
so
they
upset.
love it. And you know what it also shows me, like I said, it shows me the level of mindset that they're at. And it really shows me the need that we do have a need for this.
Yeah.
And I'll just, you know, and one day we might do a show because one day before I came up with, because you know, I'm always coming up with shows and ideas and stuff. It just comes like crazy to me. So I can't, you know, run with everything. But I one time I thought of a show called Troll to Troll, where I would take the trolls all their comments and then basically just put them up on the screen and read them with the family, so we can see how they
Summer
really feel
Jam.
about it.
Summer Jam screen.
Yeah, this is how they feel about us, family. Like, you know, I'm sitting here posting, you know, our good accomplishments of our inventors, and a lady gonna come on there and say, "Oh, good for y'all. Y'all invented something. Y'all ain't done nothing since then." Girl, you know I tore her up. I tore her up.
Oh
I
crap.
tore
That's
her
so
up.
funny.
I tore her up. So that's it, you know. But to me, it's with love, you know. I tear you up with love, you know, because I love all of the family. I love all 5 seeds of the human family. I honestly do. But some of us got to get our shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to stop messing with us because we're the cosmic royals, and
Right.
You got to stop. And I even wrote it that, you know, until Black America is atoned for, that's why we see this world going through all this trauma and turmoil it's going through, because everything's predicated on a lie. Everything's built on that lie. The system is ran on that lie. The system depends on that lie. So the more we see this paradigm shift that we're doing here and that we see right now in this age that we're going through, in the age of Aquarius that we're coming in, the 9 universal year, we're going to see these lies unfold. And that's what we're seeing here. And that's why you see the system falling. I mean, and I'm, you know, not going to get too deep into the comments with the fires and all that kind of stuff, because I do have my own suspicions of what's going on out there. But to me, it's prayers to the people, because the people's what matter. You know, people lost their lives, people lost their family, their homes that they've built their whole life working for. And this is just to let y'all know, and this is to all the 5 human families across the globe, and really just America, because right now we're talking about our own backyard right now. You know, just think of the levels that they go through to destroy us, because really their main goal is to keep us suppressed and destroy us and keep us at the bottom. But look at the lengths that they go through to do that. They sacrifice their own daily just to destroy us. They bite their own nose off to spite their face to make sure they destroy us. So this is what we're dealing with, guys. This is the level of evil that we're dealing with. I told you last week, it's evil versus good. It's not black versus white. Black versus white is just a tool that they use to carry out evil versus good, and they disguise it well. So that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. What you got to say? And then I'm going to get into the next topic.
You cooking, man. Listen, listen, when you cooking, you got to let that person cook. You heard? You know what I mean? Everybody, everything that's been said tonight, take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Because believe me, it's a lot of information out there that we still don't know about. There's so much, like, if you just look at the Vatican, it's so many miles and miles of books that we never will see. You see, there's so much history. There's so many things that by us not having access. So just imagine, think about it like this. It's got to be something why they do us so wrong here. It's something about that.
Uncovered it. We just uncovered
it. You know what I mean?
So let's reshape the narrative, brother. Let's reshape that narrative. What you just said, there is a reason, and we just uncovered the reason. Because they know we were here first. They're trying to hide it so they don't have to admit to that and give us anything that might be ours, like the birthright to this land.
Right.
You see? Because even though they took it from the Native Americans and put them on reservations and did all that kind of stuff with them, and still took over and did what they want. They knew if the real narrative that was also us, and then we didn't get divided by a lot of the trinkets and dumb stuff that we got divided from then, it would be a different outcome right now.
Facts.
So this is what we got. So we can't say, so we know why they do it to us. And this is why we're doing this show tonight. And that's why I put them 3 primary sources up. They're doing it to us so they don't have to admit to what they did to us.
I feel like it's more than that. You know why? Because for you to cause mass genocide, it ain't just the land. It ain't just the heritage. You know what I mean? Like I feel like,
but you got to be spiritual.
They know.
No, you got to be spiritual.
That's what it is. That's what it is. That spiritual
and there's physical reasons. Okay?
That spiritual part is what is the problem.
Right. But we
everywhere you go,
you got to let people understand, because disconnecting you from your resources is the problem. So that's the first problem you're going to have in a physical reality. So that's why I'm telling people it's because of it's the land. That's the main thing that people need to know is to separate you from your land, because your land is your power. That's your spiritual power. That's your spiritual essence. That's your connection to nature. That's what we connected. That's how we connected to nature.
Yeah.
Okay. That was our connection. So that's why it's the land, but it's more than the land, even in that own type of sentence.
Yeah.
Let's see what the people are saying. Synchronicity. Earlier today, as I was watching the news feed, the phrase "nothing is going to go well for us until it's until its atrocities have been atoned for." Yep, I actually just wrote that in the book that I'm writing. Like I just wrote it. I literally just wrote that in the book, and I'm like, this is what I feel. Because when you take a look around, it's all connected to that. Everything you see going on now is connected to what they did to us.
Yep. It's too much blood that has been spilled, that because the blood is this connects you to the spirit. That's just what it is. They know that, and they know that in order to conquer us, they have to sacrifice us to their energy. And they know that that comes with a price. So that's what the reaping is right now. I hate to say it, but that's the reaping, you know, and this is why the information that is being brought about the land is tied with everything that just with this. You need them both. So this is why y'all have to take the information and go get the books. Go check out the primary sources, because see, they know if they can trick us on the physical, they definitely gonna trick us on the spiritual. If they could stab us in the back for the this, they can curse you down the line. That's why your money got them sigils on them. But the sigils is tied to our land. You see what I'm saying? So people just like what she's saying. Everything she's saying is actual fact. So go do your research, please. Please do your research.
Please.
Please. Begging you. I'm begging you.
We begging you, family. Set us up here begging. All right, so let's get on with it. So we got through health and education. So the next one's law. So of course we're going to tie everything in together. So let's get this on the stage. So here we go. Law. So what I wanted to do with this one is I wanted to look at the hate crime, the hate crime statistics. And I want to look at the hate crime statistics because when we talk about politics, we're going to talk about how Biden and Harris did the Asian bill anti-hate crime back in 2021 after COVID, after George Floyd was murdered by the police in 2020. And then they actually gave Asians an anti-hate crime bill. And I'm not hating on Asians. I mean, I want them to have an anti-hate crime bill. You know, I want everybody to have one. First of all, no one should have to have one. That's just A. But since we live in this racist society that people try to act like it's not racist, obviously we need anti-hate crime bills for people. Now, Black Americans should have been the first people to get an anti-hate crime bill. Because what we're looking at now is we're looking at this slide, and it's showing you in the last 5 year statistics, you guys, anti-hate crime reportings. 14,000 reportings for anti-Black or African American hate. 14,045. Let's see what the Asian one was. 2,099 in the last 5 years. So let's take this off the screen so we could bust this up for a minute. 14,000 compared to 2,000. Who needs the hate crime bill?
Facts. This is why I was saying last episode, it's sad because they will not give us rights. And this is the thing that we have to take. We have to get together. This is why this is important. We have to unify so we can put them on that accountability, get up there. We're being murdered every day. And why don't we have a law against that yet?
Yep. And then we'll go back to tell people why, because they're still trying to cover up from what we talked about in the education slide. Facts. And then that's why we had that health slide, because of all of this. So this is how we're tying the whole show together, you guys.
Facts.
This is why they won't give us the bill. This is why they're doing this all. This is the answer. This is why we still have nurses that look like they might have a mental illness, that haven't been properly vetted, that just get a job granted to them at 26 years old, where they go and then break 7 Black babies' legs. over a 2-year
And that's a
period.
humanitarian crime. That's a
It's a crime against humanity. And not only that, you hurt a baby. We don't
they
play
don't
with
get
our
no
baby.
sicker than that. Like,
First of all, we don't
that's
even
so
play around
sick.
with our kids in our community. Don't play with our
That's
kids. We don't
right.
play with
Like,
our kids. So you know, and then I go further to say we can't even get jobs at some of these hospitals. And we went to school to be nurses and doctors and this and that. And we have the smarts. Our people were the first people to do open heart surgery, a Black man.
facts.
So we know
Facts.
medicine. We are the fathers of medicine, not Hippocrates or whatever his name is. He's not the father of medicine. He
Facts.
went to Egypt
No
to learn medicine from the real fathers of
facts.
medicine. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, you guys. So, you know, this is why they do it, and this is why they won't give us an anti-hate crime bill. Even though that we experienced over the 5-year period 14,000 things of victims of anti-hate crime. And not only that, this is underreported, like we talked about earlier. Because, like, we'll see when they talk about the anti-Asian hate crime bill that they signed in 2021, a lot of the rhetoric around that is, oh, our number says this, but it's more because it's underreported. Well, guess what? Our
Yeah.
number is more than quadruple your number, and ours is underreported. So imagine how much it would be if we actually reported this stuff to the police.
Right. Facts. That's a fact. Because there's some things that it's so like, just even think about all of the kids who come up missing. All of these children come up missing. How can you report it if they're missing? Because if it's a crime done to them and now they're gone, like,
And guess what? Half of the ones that are missing go missing. They don't even go do a good effort to look for them when they're from our
facts.
community. Let them be from
Facts.
another community. It's a whole wide search. So this is the stuff that we're talking about. This is the problem. So this is, the problem with the law. You know, if we were to be able to get our anti-hate crime bill, it would stop really the whole system, because then the police would be held accountable for the things
Yep.
that they're doing, and all of these other people. And a lot of the things that we get as the anti-hate crime bill, because they break it down into like what kind of crimes it is. A lot of it's the property crime. Like, you see what they did with the brother up in Colorado that had the farm,
Yep.
how they kept trying to kill his animals and ruin his farm and write, the N-word on the side of his barn. The sister down in North Carolina who had like a beauty salon. She was very innovative, creative sister. She was, she had got a bunch of old school buses that I think she was like revamping into like mobile beauty
Yep.
salons, or something she was doing with them. And they came and wrote the N-word all over her buses, vandalized her buses. So this is the type of stuff that we go through. Like, our businesses get vandalized, our property gets vandalized, we get assaulted. They just a white man over at West Coast, I forget what state, just killed a brother in his front yard. The brother was in his front yard cutting his shrubs. And the neighbor came out and just shot him with a shotgun. But he didn't die. He survived. But the man had been harassing him. He'd been reporting it to the law enforcement agents, and they do nothing.
They ain't gonna do.
They don't do nothing.
This. Yep. This is why we need justice on Earth. This is exactly why this is why we need the information. We need to put the action with the information, because I hate to say it, but if we do not take our own justice, there will never be none. Even if it's just teaching your kids about things that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This is something that's important, and I always love sitting back, letting the queen build, because she always like a sniper, nailing everything. But best believe it's true. It's very true. It's very true. We need justice, but we need to educate ourselves, and we need to not be afraid to do the action with the knowledge. You understand? So listen, y'all, this is why we're here. It's very, very important. If we don't do this, the generations after us, who's going to help them?
Nobody.
There are warriors. There are scientists. There are doctors.
Did it, Keith? Nobody.
Nope. Word up. Word up.
So absolutely what the king was saying. So let's get into our last topic, politics. So we're going to bring this all home. So we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to talk about the anti hate crime bill that they did for Asian Americans back in 2021. We do know this was of a, because of the time during the pandemic, there were an increase in hate crimes toward Asians. There was a spike. I do agree with that. I looked at the statistics. There was a spike, but I will note that when I looked at those statistics, ours were still higher. And ours actually had a spike also. It's just that their spike was higher than our spike. It was, but only higher by like 15%. But the totality of it, we still had a higher number. So I say that to say, and then couple that with the time, George Floyd had just been murdered by Derek Chauvin. And, it's insurmountable to me that Kamala Harris would have the gumption to get up on the stage and say that she wouldn't do anything specifically for Black people, but she did this for Asian people, right? Her and her campaign. And I don't want to make this too political, but we need to get into this because these politicians are full of shit. All of them, both sides, not just one. Trust me, I'm not up here stomping for Trump, and I ain't up here hating on whatever. I don't really mess with either one of these sides of this politics, because they're both phony, fake, and a liar to me. They're two sides of the same bird. And either one of them have produced justice for the Black American community since all of their time in office when they had every opportunity to do so. So I don't get into the semantics of it, but we're just pointing out her fallacies right now, because she did say that she would never do anything specifically for Black people. But she did something specifically for Asian people. And then I'm going to double down on what I'm showing you right now. And I just want to read this because we had this big election that we just had that, let me take this down for a minute. Where, it was a question of, is Kamala Black? Is she Asian? Is she East Indian? Is she Jamaican? What is Kamala? What is she? So let's see what Kamala says she is in this article dated May 20th, 2021. So this article is a direct thing from them signing the Asian hate crime bill. So Kamala says, first of all, I want to get into how they're talking about racism is not acceptable in America and all of this stuff, but y'all do it to us daily. So who's not acceptable? Acceptable for certain people, or you?
Right.
No. But anyway, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. So this was a quote from Kamala. That's another show. We could do that next week.
Right.
Right? Like that's just a whole nother show in itself. So Kamala said, this violence, it did not come from nowhere, and none of it is new. In my life, my lived experience, I have seen how hate can pervade our community, she said. Harris, who is the first Asian American vice president, added, I have seen how hate can impede our progress, and I have seen how people united against hate in our country.
Repeat that part again, the Asian part. Repeat it again for the people. Repeat it again for the people, please.
Hold on. She said, Harris, who is the first Asian American vice president. So right there, she's telling you that she's Asian American. So all y'all people who, would say, oh, she's the first Black president. No, she's not. She don't even call herself Black, y'all. And we're not saying that her dad's from Jamaica. But we got to look at genealogy. Like I told y'all, it's not about even just looking at skin colors, genealogy and bloodline. And when we look at those things with her, she's not us. Just like Kendrick says, she's not like us. So I thought that was funny that her and Tahaji G. Penson, whatever the heck her name is, Taraji Henson, I think it was the Grammys or one of them shows, Kamala called her on the phone and she's saying they not like us. And in my mind, I'm like, she the hell ain't like us. Like, who the hell is she saying it to?
She's perpetrating the fraud.
Yeah, people just be lying and shit. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, these people are terrible. Like, they'll just get in front of you and lie to do anything to get your vote. And they'll completely tell you all these lies to get your vote. And then when they get in office, they do nothing for you. And the Black community has gone through this historically.
Right.
This is why we was tired of that. This is why we, a lot of people didn't vote for her or whatever. So, It's just is what it is. It just goes to show that it's a bunch of lies, and the way that they talk. It's just it's really a bunch of lies, and this is what we have to do to combat those lies. We got to come on here. We got to speak our truth. We got to speak the truth, and
Facts.
just really do what we got to do. So this was our episode for tonight. Again, it was help. So that means help yourself to empower yourself with knowledge, to change your mindset, to start doing things, get in tune with your own frequency, with your own spirit, to reintroduce yourself to your own spirit, reconnect with nature, and really start changing the landscape of your reality, right? And culturally and mentally, emotionally ascending yourself to the level that the earth is ascending to, and really just putting you in that prime space to do what we got to do in this 9 transformational year. We're already seeing the transformation of the country. Let me speak on this for a minute. I'm just gonna take you down for 2 seconds. So right now, you guys, we're seeing a transformation of the country in this 9 universal year. The reason that we see a lot of this going on in California, and around the country, different things happening, there's a plan in place, and this is the year to do it. And I want to let y'all know, as a family, the powers that be know all of our ancient sciences. They operate on our metaphysical sciences. They operate on the laws of the universe, because they know them, and they know them well. They've had a long time to study them and to implement them in their plans, while we were asleep and being subjugated and enslaved, and everything else that we've been going through in this past 500-year century history right here on this specific continent. I'm not even talking about the global war that we have with them of good versus evil, which goes back eons. I'm just talking about this continent and this time and space. So I'm saying that to say this is the time to get yourself together. This is really the time to step it up and take your position. Understand your position. Understand your power. I'm going to bring you back up on the stage. I just wanted to really say that to the family. They're transforming this for a reason, guys, because this is the year that they have to do this transformation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If they don't do the transformation now, they've lost their chance, and they don't lose their chance. They don't waste their opportunities that the universe presents for them. And this is what I want the family to know. Now, this is your astronumerology Queen Bee talking. They hone in on those frequencies. They hone in on those energies, on those universal laws. We're behind on that front. We're behind on a lot of fronts, but we're definitely behind on that front. And since this is a spiritual war that we're fighting, we have to get back in the forefront, because that's our sciences that they're using against us. Okay.
Facts.
Don't know your individual frequency and you don't know your numbers. You need to get with me. Text me on the moon line, send me an email, get you a keys chart to get you started. Okay. And we'll get you started, and we'll get you on that road to transformation of yourself, because we have to change what's coming, guys. I talked about this
Facts.
on my other shows, with my other interviews. This 9-year, one more second, because I had lost my train of thought. I regained it. So this 9 years, the year of transformation. You see the country transforming, right? This is the year they got to do it, because now they're preparing for their plan. Like I said, they're always 1,000 steps ahead of us. So they're preparing their 5-year plan, their 10-year plan, their 30-year plan, all the way up to about 2030 to 2050. They have a plan, you guys. They have these plans in place. By 2030, where you see these fires and these transformations in these cities, you're going to start seeing smart cities pop up. When we had the bridge collapse in Baltimore, that's going to be where you're going to see smart cities starting to pop up. They're doing these transformations of the land to reshape it to the reality they want to carry out for these next few cycles, to get them to that 2030 mark, because it's projected by 2030 that they will be the minority statistically, even though statistically we know they are. But talking for real, minority, because at the rate that they're dying and are not reproducing at a at an even enough rate to offset that. So by 2030, they're going to be way left behind as far as numbers, sheer numbers. So a lot of this is to combat that. A lot of this is to transform the country. So when they get to 2030, which is the 5 universal year of dramatic change and transformation, what you think is going to happen in 2030? So this is what we're facing. This is more serious than, oh, it's just some fires and this is just this is a lot of this is being done strategically. I'm not saying we can even do anything about it, because these are their plans and they're carrying them out, but we could do something about it in a different way. So that's why I'm trying to get us all on the same page with this. All right. So I just wanted to drop them jewels on you about them nuggets and about what's going on over there, because it's greater than what the eye can see. And sometimes we got to scratch the surface and look deeper to see what the true meaning of things are and to see truly why some of these things are happening. Also in the age that they're happening and in the time that they're happening. It's important, family. It's important. So I want to get that across. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. I'm going to let me put the sources up here. You guys can take a screenshot of this. Hold on. This is not the right page. I only put 3 of the book sources on here, but Shawan put the other book sources in the chat, and I will list the other book sources in the description once the video processes. And then here go the 3 links to the stories that we told about the Virginia nurse for the health story, and then the anti-hate crime bill stuff. Okay. And then as far as the other stories, we don't have a source for those. So everything that we have, we're gonna tie the source in the description. This has been Justice on Earth. Of course, this was health, education, law, and politics. I hope you learned something tonight. I hope you learned that there's a reason why we're going through this and why we have to endure this, and it's a reason that we have to do what we're doing. We've all agreed to be here at this time and place. So we got to continue to do the work. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart that tuned into this live. It's a Thursday night. You could have been anywhere that you chose to be, but you chose to be here with us, the Universal Supreme Family, the Cosmic Collective. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday night with us. You are a part of us, and we are a part of you. And we love you. Also, I want to say, family, if you guys have topics you want us to cover, please email them to me or text them to me on the Moon line. And we'll cover your topic. Okay. So let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. And I want to thank everybody, for being here in the audience. Some people said they woke up just to catch this. So you woke up physically and then you just woke up a little bit mentally. Hopefully after this broadcast. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into BEETV. Remember that Black education empowers true vision. Okay. This is about us, the Universal Supreme. Okay. And we got to fight together, and we got to fight for each other, and we have to stand up for each other. Because if we don't, who will? That's an oldie, but a goodie from BEETV. If we don't, who will? Because that's why we do it. We do it because if we don't, who will? Any closing words, King?
Like I said, I let you cook because everything you say is on point. All I would say is take advantage of having somebody who can do your numeralytics, somebody who can give you your keys to your car, so that way you can be on the right frequency, because they're transforming our world to make it virtual. Virtual don't have no soul, but you do. So if you forfeit your soul going into this new world of smart cities to be virtual, when they wipe you out and take your soul and use it to re-energize, just get your numeralytics done, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. Get it done. The Queen is bringing you what you need to connect you spiritually with your numbers, with your frequency, and with the planet. Please take advantage of your situation while you have somebody who has mastered it. That's it.
Thank you, King. That was beautiful. You know,
That's
we're
it.
partners and all. I'm about to hire you to do my commercials because you just did my whole spiel for Numeralytics. I loved it. It was great. I loved it. Botanical, we got a topic. She wants us to talk about Hollywood pairing up
Okay.
white men with black women. Ooh, I could go in on that all day long. So that might be a topic that we're gonna very, very much consider doing, and we're gonna do it. I'm not gonna we're gonna. It might not be next week because I think we have something for next week, but maybe we'll touch on it then. But I want to give your topics that you give us, I want to give them the full attention. So we'll see when we're going to do it. It might be next week, maybe not. Me and the King will build on that. We'll talk about it. But in the meantime, family, like I said, you know, it means the world to me that you're here. So just thank you so much, really, for being here and for caring and investing in yourself and for us, the Universal Supreme. With that being said, I want to say, make sure you keep justice on earth at the forefront. I'm going to end the show with the outro music. Peace and love.
Freedom.
Peace, y'all.
Justice, 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 equality, 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 equality.
What I'm gonna talk about.
Freedom.
What I'm gonna talk about.
Justice, 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 equality, 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 equality. Yeah.
Freedom for you and for me.
But when I look at y'all, I see a law. When I look in the mirror, I see the law. Now the question is, what is our law going to do for his nation? What is the earth going to do for their nation? So if you want things to change, if you want things to become better, then you yourself must make these things what happen. All that is caused by you, not by something else. Stop thinking that something is going to cause something to happen. Stop thinking something is going to cause